The key is I like helping people, and that's the reason why I'm still there. I enjoy the customer service. I love helping people and explaining the tax process, explaining how they can get exemptions and how they can save on their property taxes. So that is the reason why I'm still there.
Welcome to Talking Cities Aurora. I'm Diane Mocha with today's story on property assessments. If you own a home, you know that the amount of taxes you pay depends on the government's estimated value of your property. But did you know there are ways to reduce that assessment and then subsequently those taxes? We've got Aurora Township Assessor David Offit and Chief Deputy Assessor Delia Gomez with us to explain some different programs that could save you money. And we're going to start by explaining their open door policy. Davis, I understand that people can meet with you or a member of your team to discuss their assessment, see if it needs adjustment, and you're open to having a conversation with them. How does that work?
Exactly. We have a website so everyone can check their assessment on the website. Plus, the phone number is on the website. They can call us. And some people like to have face-to-face. And our door is wide open. We have field people and people inside that will review everybody's assessment at their request. In the state of Illinois, the assessment's supposed to reflect a mass appraisal. That means, like we do neighborhoods, not individual homes, 33% of market value. So if a home is worth $300,000, the assessment should be no more than $100,000.
Why do sometimes properties get assessed in a way that a homeowner thinks is wrong, and what are reasons that you might make an adjustment for a homeowner that's not an exemption?
If there's discrepancies, square footage, bathroom count, whether they have a basement, no basement, air conditioning, fireplace, those type of things.
And from January 1 until June 15th, we review all assessments, or anybody comes in questions their assessment. So bottom line is, you want to speak to us probably before we send our books up on June 15th.
We want to be able to explain, pull up your property record card, look at it, and explain to you what's on there, and then make sure you have all the exemptions that you're entitled to. So we go through that.
After it gets up to the county and you apply for the exemption, it comes off of that assessment. So the value is established before the county applies the exemptions.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, so the exemption is just a reduction, basically, in what is going to be applied to the tax.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
So, for instance, I think one of the most popular and known exemptions is a homestead exemption. And so how does that work? Do people get that automatically when they close on the property, or do they have to make sure that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed?
Well, typically what happens if someone buys a home that has the general, we call it general homestead exemption. So that $6,000 comes off your assessment for the home that you live in and you own. Senior homestead, same thing. People own, live in their home, and they're 65. Senior assessment freeze, the same thing. They own, live in the home, they're a senior, and they prove that they have less than $65,000 a year income. That will freeze it for that year, and every following year that's the one you have to reapply because your income changes.
The exemption is taken off the equalized assessed value. So it reduces the equalized assessed value. And so minus that, and then whatever's left over is multiplied times the tax rate. So that equals less taxes on your property bill. A lot of times people are not aware of the exemptions, and they call us, and all of a sudden we'll look at the property and we'll see that they don't have any of the exemptions, sometimes not even the homestead exemption for whatever reason. So then we'll go ahead and help them fill out all the forms, and they're just so grateful that we were able to help and explain all the exemptions, and they came to one office and we just went down the line and helped them fill out each form.
Are there any other programs that people can apply for? I know there's something involving improvements to your property.
Well, again, remember we talked about why my home is assessed the same as the fellow who just put an addition on there. That's a homestead improvement exemption. Like they put an addition on there. Maybe put a fireplace didn't have before. That kind of thing will qualify for 4 years.
You're, in essence, freezing the value and not considering the improvement when assessing the value for those 4 years.
Right. Then there's a medical one. It's like $2,000 off the assessment. And then another one is veterans disability one. That's a good one for veterans that really need it. And I help a lot of veterans out because I'm a veteran and I know about it.
And so I understand that you've been doing this for a while.
Oh yes.
And that you have a lot of history with this office.
I
So share that.
measured, my dad was assessor from 64 to 94. And when I was in high school, another friend of mine, Bob Kellett, we measured property. So I actually have been from the field work, then 4 years in the service, and then came out and got licenses and went to work for my dad. In the state of Illinois, assessors not only run for an office, but you have to be qualified and you have to have these tests. So the qualifications kind of like kicks unexperienced or people that don't have the assessment background out.
How long have you been there, and what do you think have been the number one questions or misconceptions that have come up in all that time?
I've been there 28 years, and the number one question is most people think that they're over-assessed when they first call us, or the first thing that they say is, I'm paying too much in taxes. So we go back and we look at to make sure that they are properly assessed, and we do ask them, do you think your property is worth this much? And then we go based on that. And they can always get a market analysis also from a local realtor, and usually the local realtor will give them 3 comparables as to what the market is doing in their area. Then they know what their property is worth, and they can see whether their property is assessed fairly or not. And we'll take that data too. If the information is incorrect in our records, we will correct that information.
And why might an assessment end up being wrong?
Well, a lot of times I hate to say this, but if things were measured incorrectly, or a lot of times someone will take down their garage, and all of a sudden we still have it on there because a permit wasn't taken out of there. You've got homes that were kind of look exactly like Victorians, but this one just sold for $200,000, and this one just sold for $100,000. What's the difference? And it's the quality that they've kept up or the condition. We assume average condition. And what that means is the house that's in average condition is the one we're going to use as a guide. And so it doesn't give a break to somebody that haven't kept the same home up, and it doesn't punish the person that's improved their home and it looks good.
But the best thing to do is to call us. We are open Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 4 p.m. And we talk to everybody and we explain the process. And if there's something that they don't understand, we go through it and we give them more information so that they're knowledgeable. And if they do have to appeal, then we show them how to do that too, as far as what they need to put on the appeal board review appeal form. So we do help them throughout the process, and I think that they should call us first before they sign up with a company to do that.
A lot of people might think that assessments go through the county, which is a big governmental organization, and they might not feel that the people in that office have time for them. So is there an advantage to you and your team working in the township office? Do you have more of a connection to the individual constituents because the township is smaller than the county as a whole?
We do. We feel closer to the people because we know the properties. A lot of them are friends, people we talk to, and people we meet, and so this is a community. So we are closest to the people. So it's good that they come to us because we can explain the process, and it's very simple. I mean, our office is very friendly, and we help everybody.
Well, we thank you for coming in here and sharing all this great information. Now, if you want to tap into any of these programs to reduce your property's assessed value or your property tax bill, contact Assessor Davis or Chief Deputy Assessor Delia at 630-896-7792 because there are a lot of options out there for you. For Talking Cities Aurora, I'm Diane Mocha.